Right. Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Come on in. Good afternoon. All right, Angela Tillman Sneed, good evening to you. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening to Up Close and Personal. We're live in the studios of WXVI Radio, 1600 AM, here in Montgomery, Alabama. We are your station for inspiration and information. I see my sister there, Miss Sybil Sloan, 96.5 FM here in Montgomery. Thank you so much for tuning in to us on tonight. All right. Susie Stovall, Montgomery, you all are checking in on this evening. We have a dynamic show in store for you on this afternoon. I tell you, we have someone huge in our studios, and we're just so thankful that you decided to take the time out of your busy schedule to share with us here at WXVI. The next mayor of Montgomery, Alabama. Ooh.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, we are so honored that he's here on this evening. Share this video. Share this video. Again, we are live in the studios of WXVI, Lady D, Dion Whetstone, Up Close and Personal, with the General himself, Brigadier General and Montgomery, Alabama mayoral candidate, Edward F. Crowell.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for stopping by this evening.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. You're so welcome. Rosie Thigpen, I like this. You all are checking in. Yes, Montgomery strong on this evening. Again, we are up close and personal. Lady D Whetstone, WXVI Radio, here in Montgomery, Alabama. Thank you so much for tuning in. All right, I see we've got Chicago here. All right, Natasha Wilson, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget, we have a very important mayoral election here in Montgomery in August. So we want to make sure you are, first of all, registered to vote, and that you get out and vote, okay?
Absolutely.
This is so important. So we're not going to, talk so much gospel on this evening, but we're going to educate you, and we got a dynamic person in our studio, and we just want you to know about him. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you. We want to introduce you to our audience.
Well, thank you.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you. Minister Betty Hardy Palmer, she's from right here in Montgomery. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you. They are in here. All right. All right. Share this video. Share this video. Again, we are live in the studios of WXVI 1600 AM here in Montgomery, Alabama. Floyd Wright, Montgomery. Yes, share this video. I tell you, we have a dynamic gentleman here. Yeah, again, we thank you so much for tuning in. Well, for sharing with us on this evening. Pearlie Williams, you're tuning in. Thank you. Thank you. All right. I tell you, Montgomery is strong. Normally, I have a lot of out-of-town listeners to come in first, but we've got, I tell you, my city is representing. I appreciate this.
Very good.
Yes. Very excited on this evening. All right, Clanton, Alabama is in the house. Okay, Natasha, we know you live in Clanton, but you're also in Montgomery a lot. Make sure you tell your friends here in Montgomery to share this video. The generals, Carl Green, he says the general. Okay. He's speaking to you. That's right, the general.
Very good.
Thank you so much, Mr. Carl Green, for tuning in. All right. Sanchez Tannehill, thank you. Just giving them a little time to come in.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I think that's good.
Birmingham, how are you doing? All right. Thank you. She says she will do that. All right. Angel Baker, good evening to you, Angel. All right. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and get started. thank you all again so much for tuning in to this edition, this Wednesday night edition of Up Close and Personal. Again, I'm Lady D, Dion Whetstone, and we are live in the studios of New Life Radio, WXVI 1600 AM. Of course, you will see this interview again and again and again, but we thank you so much. And again, we do ask that you share the video. We've got some wonderful information and just a great dialogue that we're going to have on tonight. Now, I do know momentarily the presidential debate, the Democratic presidential debate, will hit the air around 7 o'clock, but this is interesting as well, okay? So we want you to just tell all your friends, tell everybody to share this video. We're just going to just have a wonderful dialogue with this interesting gentleman. Again, he is Brigadier General Edward Crowell. He's our candidate for mayor here in the city of Montgomery. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And again, thank you so much, General Crowell, for sharing with us on this evening, the listeners and our family here at WXVI.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So tell us, how is everything going?
Well, things are going well.
All right.
I think we're up moving every day.
Yes.
It's an exciting venture.
Yes.
And we're meeting a lot of interesting people.
All right.
People who are really serious about Montgomery, where it is today and where it needs to be.
Yes.
And they are particularly interested in making certain that it receive the benefits that it should and move forward.
Awesome.
And I'm excited to hear some of the concerns and some of the discussions. And I think we're poised for greatness.
That's wonderful. So when you go out and you campaign, can I call you Mr. Ed?
Absolutely.
If you don't mind. Okay,
Absolutely.
Mr. Ed, our next mayor. How about
Okay.
that? All right. So when you go out and when you talk to all of the people, of the great people of Montgomery, Alabama, what do you hear? What do they want the most?
Well, I think largely they want cohesiveness.
All right.
They want to be heard, and they want to make certain that they and the community they reside in gets a fair shake.
All right.
And they don't want to be excluded. And they want to know that they are viable, their surrounding is viable, and they want due process in that viability.
Okay, awesome. Now, I'm looking at your resume right here. Now, this is his resume, y'all. This is a very impressive resume. And the first thing that jumps up is you are a U.S. Air Force retired Brigadier General. So explain to us, what is a Brigadier General and what's the role of a Brigadier General?
Well,
thank you all for sharing this video.
Well, you rise to the rank of Brigadier General after going through a number of other ranks in the Air Force.
Yes,
where
sir.
you start out as in the officer corps, you start out as a second lieutenant, and then you go to first lieutenant, captain, major, lieutenant colonel,
Wow.
then colonel, and then Brigadier General.
Oh my goodness.
And the thing, it's very, very important, and I always explain is that rising through the ranks is important.
Yes, sir.
And you, as in those roles, aspire to achieve those levels, but it needs to be understood.
Okay.
You don't do that alone.
Okay.
You do it through the help of others.
Yes.
And,
Teamwork.
Teamwork.
Yes. Absolutely.
And the enlisted force is the force that I give a lot of credit to, that aids immeasurably in helping me to get to the next level.
Awesome.
And obviously you're thrusted into a leadership role,
Yes, sir.
and you have to lead.
That's right.
But leading, you got to do more than just asking someone to do something. You've got to inspire. You got to motivate people to want to do things, and then you got to communicate so they know what everything is about.
Yes.
And to buy into that process, and then aid you in getting there.
That's right. That is so. And you have to lead by example.
You got to lead by example.
Very important. Very important.
And I've always been an out front person. I lead from the front.
Yes.
I'm not one to sit back and point, but and it's understood that I will never ask anyone to do anything I'm not willing to do.
Come on now. Now that's the number one. That is the number one goal right there. That's right. Exactly.
Absolutely.
And of course, I just admire you so very much, sir. And of course, you're out there campaigning right now, but he stopped just momentarily. He's getting back out there, but he stopped momentarily from campaigning to stop to share with you all on this evening. And we thank you all so much. They are sharing this video too.
Outstanding.
And we thank you. If you have any questions that you may want to ask, go ahead and just jot those questions down. We'll be happy to ask our wonderful mayoral candidate, Crowell, any questions that you may have, and we'll be happy to talk about that on this evening.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you so very much. Now, of course, you are a native Montgomeryan, is that correct?
That is correct.
All right.
I'm a native Alabamian.
Okay.
And I've been in the Montgomery area for 51 years.
51 years? Well, if you've been here for 51 years, this is home.
I can call, it is home.
Yes.
I call it home.
Yes, sir.
And, I moved here to go to school.
Okay.
But I grew up in East Alabama in a small rural town called Hurtsboro, Alabama.
I've heard of Hurtsboro.
Right.
Russell County.
Russell County.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
All right.
And then moved to Montgomery and to go to school. So, yes, and then I've went in the Air Force after college.
All right.
And been around the world several times, but everywhere I went, I always came back to Montgomery. Montgomery was home because, and I left, as I always say, I left my most prized possession in Montgomery, Alabama. That's my wife and my kids.
And we love her too. We do. Okay, Miss Pearlie. Okay, we already have some questions for you. All right, Mr. Carl Green. He says, what church are you a member of?
Right, I'm a member of the First Missionary Baptist Church in Hurtsboro.
Okay.
The church that I attend is the Holy Spirit Catholic Church here in Montgomery.
Awesome. Okay, thank you for that question. Another question, Miss Pearlie Williams, she's saying, are you a graduate of Booker T. Washington High School in Montgomery?
No, but I have lots of friends that are graduates of Booker T. Washington, and I've heard so many positive things about it. I'm a graduate of Russell County High School.
Russell County High.
Right.
Okay. All right. Again, y'all keep those questions coming in. Keep those questions. Now, I have a couple questions that I would like to ask. Of course, we already know that your background is in the military, right?
Right.
Okay. So, what inspires you to want to run for mayor of Montgomery?
Okay. Living in the Montgomery area, since I came to college here, I was always involved in the civic organizations.
Oh, right.
My mother instilled in myself and my older brother that we had a responsibility and an obligation to give back.
Okay.
So I made a decision early on that I enjoyed being on the giving end rather than the receiving end. So I became actively involved in all of the civic organizations. There are several organizations in the area. One, the Montgomery Area Council on Aging.
Oh, exactly.
I was its chairman.
Okay.
Board chairman. The Sunshine Center is another one that
Domestic violence.
Domestic violence.
Yes, very aware.
I was chairman of that organization for not 1 or 2 years, but several years.
Yes, sir.
And then the YMCA. Been involved with the YMCA for more than 30 years.
Wow.
And have aided immeasurably in the process of their growth. I'm currently on the board of the YMCA, the overall board.
Yes.
And,
now I'm looking. I see this right now.
The Metro board.
Yes. And of course your resume states that you currently serve on the board of directors for the Montgomery Metro YMCA,
that is correct.
the AUM Advisory Board,
Right.
the Alabama Shakespeare Festival.
Right.
All right.
Absolutely.
You're right. Recent and past the OIC of the state of Alabama.
I'm chairman of the Central Alabama OIC's board, been for 30 years.
Awesome.
And I'm on the Troy University Board of Trustees.
All right.
Currently.
Great. Now, what's your role with the United Way?
Well, my role with the United Way is I have just completed a 1-year stint where I served as the annual campaign chairman for the United Way.
Y'all listen to this now. This is important.
And was successful in raising a little over $4 million for their campaign.
Wow.
And in so doing, I had an opportunity to go out and visit the 42 to 43 agencies that fall under the United Way umbrella. And these agencies work very, very diligently in support of those that they serve.
Right.
And to include the Brentwood Children Homes, the Boy Scouts, and there's several others. The Easter Seal, for instance.
Yes.
Right, and it's so important that these organizations benefit from individuals who's willing to give.
Oh, exactly.
And the thing I can say is this community at large gives generously to support these agencies.
Yes.
And the need never goes.
Never.
It's never
Right.
filled. It never goes away, and it's always there. And the one thing you can say about Montgomery, Alabama, is that when there is a need, everyone comes together.
Yes, they
and
do.
help in fulfilling that need.
We have some good folks here
Absolutely.
in Montgomery, Alabama.
Absolutely.
Awesome people. Gosh, I'm getting so many wonderful comments about you. Joe Jordan, he says that you are a great man. He says, I grew up under his dad, Deacon Thad Crowell.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, thank
Okay.
you so much, Joe. Great information to know. That is awesome. So, of course, we have so many candidates that are running for mayor. How many now? About what? 15?
No, I believe there are 12.
12?
Right.
Okay. 12. Okay. So what uniquely qualifies you, Brigadier General Ed Crowell, for mayor of Montgomery?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I've always decided to be involved.
Yes.
And the thing I think that uniquely qualifies me is my leadership abilities.
Yes.
I spent 35 years in the United States Air Force, Air Force Reserve without a break, and I've been exposed to some of the best training one could have.
Yes.
And that's a measure our services take seriously. Those individuals in leadership, they have the tools necessary to perform and perform successfully.
Right.
So that's the one thing. The other thing is I've always had a passion for people. I grew up with 8 siblings.
8?
8 siblings.
All right.
And so I learned early how to get along.
You have to with 8 siblings. That's right.
And I'm in the middle of the pack.
All right.
And so basically accomplished that mission.
Yes.
So, and then having worked around the world with people of all echelons,
Yes.
all backgrounds,
Yes.
to perform a singular mission and sometimes multiple missions, and you had to do it successfully.
That's right.
So there was no opportunity to go back and say, hey, I don't have the right tools in place. I don't have the right
That's
people.
right. Exactly.
What you had to do was to communicate very clearly and succinctly to those people that you were working with.
Yes.
You had to motivate them and tell them the mission that you were given was important.
Right.
You didn't question it.
No.
And as long as it wasn't unethical or immoral, you saluted and you marched forward to it, and you knew you had to be successful.
Yes.
And that's the other thing that working hard, doing a good job is a measure of success. And as long as you're doing that,
Yes, sir.
and stay focused,
Yes.
you will meet the challenges.
Awesome. We appreciate all of your questions on this evening. I am just really enjoying having you here this evening.
Thank you.
Yes. Well, we do have a question right here. Let's see. Okay, Gerard Clay. He's asking, what are your plans as mayor to rebuild the south side of Montgomery?
Well, my plan is very, very clear. I'm very, very happy with the progress that have been made downtown, but I want it to be understood that the downtown area is not the only part of Montgomery.
Yes.
And my thrust is one Montgomery. That's my platform, one Montgomery. So I want everyone in Montgomery to benefit from the successes. So obviously, economic development is an engine. That's very, very important, and that is a major thrust for the mayor of the city of Montgomery. So I think it's important to look at what's present and look at, for instance, on the south side, the west side, and the north side. Let's look at these areas and let's see what opportunities can be brought to these areas. Let's go out, and when we get into a recruiting measure, when we go outside to look at opportunities, I want to recruit technologically advanced companies here with good paying jobs, so that the individuals in these areas don't have to go beyond the realms of Montgomery to get a job.
Because you know what, I have a 13-year-old son.
Absolutely.
And he says, Mama, when I graduate from college, I'm out of Alabama. I said, no, son, it's going to get better.
Absolutely.
Just hold on, it's going to get better.
Absolutely.
So that's great right there. So what would you have to say to our millennials or our young people to encourage them to stay in Montgomery,
I would say
Alabama?
to our millennials is that you guys are so entrenched in information. You're in an information age.
Yes.
Through this social media, you guys can gather forces in 5 minutes where it may take in the past 5 or 10 years to do
Yes,
so.
sir.
So I would say, pay attention to what's going on around you. Let's look at what's happening, and I am committed to make certain that we do everything possible to bring opportunities to Montgomery so that when you go out, you go to college or you go out for other reasons, you won't have to say, well, there's nothing to go back to.
Yes.
Or I'm going to go visit my mother and father and then I'm back out again. I'm going to make it very, very challenging to them so that there's an opportunity in Montgomery, Alabama that will afford your background and it will pay you the salary that warrants the opportunity.
Wanting to stay here.
Warrants, that's right, staying here, and that will accommodate the training that you receive. So that's the thing we got to do, and challenge them to don't look beyond your horizon. Look back and see where it is, because we know where we are.
Right.
We know where we want to be.
Yes.
But we don't know where we're going.
Exactly.
And my thing is always looking beyond the current spectrum.
Yes, awesome. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Again, share this video. We're just so honored to have in our studios WXVI Radio here in Montgomery, Alabama, mayoral candidate General Ed Crowell. Again, thank you so much for sharing with us on this evening. Of course, August is right around the corner.
And it is. It's coming fast.
It's coming fast.
Absolutely.
Yes. So of course we plan to see you all over town.
That is true.
Yes.
My plan is to get out and meet everyone in the community, not just in one segment, but throughout the community, because I'm a unifier, and I plan to bring all the masses of people, the citizens of Montgomery, together.
Right.
And then I believe in open communication.
Okay.
And to talk about what is it that you desire, and let's work together to achieve those desires.
That is wonderful, wonderful. Now, General, what is your take as far as improving race relations in our city?
Right.
What's your plan for
Well,
that?
I think race relations has come a long ways, although it may not be where it should be and need to be. Well, you do that by creating an environment conducive for ongoing communication. Creating an environment where people feel open and honest to express their views, and then they're not going to be reprised for such. You have to do that, and then I believe in a committee structure, where individuals come together and understand the reason for their togetherness, and not to just have fun. And I'm not downplaying that. That's always healthy.
Yes, sir.
But we're here to foster good communication, and we're going to talk about some of the concerns, some of the issues, and there are several programs. There's a program called One Montgomery, where people come and express their views, and they try to foster good esprit de corps in the respective areas that they live. But I want everyone to come, particularly our millennials, because they feel that they're not heard.
Yes.
I want to make certain that they know that we're here to ensure that we want to restore hope and provide opportunity for everyone in Montgomery.
All right.
And we're prepared to do whatever it takes to do that.
Right.
And although there are many other measures that we need to focus on, but that's one that we can't leave.
Yes.
Because it doesn't help us for one segment to succeed and the other one to fail.
Exactly. I'm just trying to make sure I'm not missing any questions. Okay, you're saying that's great. Okay, again, if you have any questions, feel free to chime in. We have him here. So go ahead and ask all the questions. Of course, we have General Ed Crowell. He's our candidate for mayor of the city of Montgomery, Alabama. Awesome. So tell us, what is your feel as far as the education system in our city?
Education in our city is at the top of the horizon. It's there are many things we need to focus on, but education is number one.
Yes.
Education is the engine that drives everything, and if we don't focus on education, we're gonna fall short.
Yes.
Education has gotten to the point right now And it must be understood that, you know, the situation of our education is not an instantaneous thing.
Yes.
This is something that has occurred over a period of time. At present, there's a lot of focus and specificity surrounding education. And although we're making some strides in education, because if you look at what the 1 year, the progress been made in 1 year, since there's been a lot of focus on it, you know, we've come from the FD period to the C period.
Yes.
Now, although that's good, we can't let up and we can't be, well, I'm happy we've done that. We need to look at the successes we've had. We need to point back to some of the successes that have been achieved over the period of time, our magnet programs and some of the other programs, where, you know, we look at those programs and see what has happened to make them successful. And you can name a lot of things. You know, you've got students that have been challenged. You've got teachers that are really concerned about educating, and let's use some of those successes in the other programs to pull them along.
Yes.
But we're talking everything. We're hitting on every cylinder that can be hit on, talking this program. So now it's time to move from talking about it into the next level and begin to walk the walk rather than talk the talk.
Exactly.
And I think we're ready to do that. Obviously, my plan would be to assist in any measure that's going to move the education system forward. And obviously take the office of the mayor into the community.
Okay.
And talk to those individuals that have been elected with the responsibility for our education program and motivate them, challenge them, win their confidence.
And I've never heard that before.
Absolutely.
I have never heard that one.
And allow them to look at you as a part of the team, because after all, you are a major stakeholder.
Yes, you are. All right. We got State Representative Sheena Morrow. She's tuned in on this evening.
Okay.
Thank you so much for tuning in on this evening. We're just so excited to have everyone dialoguing with us.
Great.
Of course, we're live in the studios again with General Ed Crowell. He's our mayoral candidate for the city of Montgomery, Alabama. Of course, how do you feel about possibly being elected the first black mayor of Montgomery?
Well, you know, in all honesty and candor, I haven't even thought about that.
You haven't?
No,
Okay, all
I really
right.
haven't. I
Okay.
want to be, and the thing I want it clear, that I have no aspiration beyond being the mayor of the city of Montgomery.
No aspirations?
No aspiration beyond being the mayor.
Okay, not even
know,
going to Congress?
Not even going to Congress, no.
Okay.
Don't aspire to do that. I
All
want to be
right.
the best mayor that Montgomery can have. And I want to represent all of the citizens of Montgomery. That's my plan.
All right.
And I want to win and gain the confidence and the respect of everyone and allow them to win mine.
That's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
That is awesome. Okay, we got another good question here.
Okay.
What are your plans as far as pushing our minimum wages up? You know, that's been a big issue up in Birmingham.
Absolutely.
Right.
Well, you know, I think
Great questions.
honest pay for an honest day's work is important. And, you know, we've got to look, you get out of anything what you put into it. Now, if you want good working abilities, you got to pay for it. So you look at currently where we are, and then you look at the infrastructure, look at what we can afford and what we should be. I'm an advocate of paying people for what they do, performance, pay for performance.
Right.
And I think we need to do that. So as far as the minimum wages, I'm an advocate of moving those wages beyond where they are, because when you really look at it, you know, you're not going to get any reprieve for making, say, $10 an hour as opposed to the person who makes $20 an hour when you go to the grocery store.
That's right.
You're going to pay the same thing. And the needs are similar.
Right.
So you know, I believe in looking at every individual and saying, hey, we need to pay for performance, and we need to pay people a decent wage.
Yes.
So I'm particularly interested in looking at some of the things that we can do. I would be one of the advocates in that regard.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So, what is your plan as mayor of the city of Montgomery? What's your goal? What would you like to do? Where would you like to see this city in 10 years?
In 10 years, I would like to see health and prosperity in this city. I would like to see individuals with a comfortable feeling that they can go into any segment of the city, speak their piece, and not feel any situation of reprisal. I would want individuals to feel that here's an opportunity over here that I can go and pursue. I want the entrepreneurial spirit to be as high as anything, and I want economic development to be resounding.
All right.
Because if there's not good economic development, that's where your income come from, that's where the pay come from, and you put it back. And I want reinvestment into the community rather than all of the businesses and being drained off into other areas.
Yes.
So I just want a healthy economy, and I want to help that. But the most important thing is I want people to feel comfortable that they go out and invest in a home. And the largest investment you make as a single entity is on a home.
That's right.
And you should feel very comfortable that there's going to be some level of appreciation on your home rather than your home begin to depreciate. That's a big investment.
Right.
So, that's the thing you want. But again, all of that is tied back to the education, is tied back to crime, it's
all
tied back to the infrastructure, and a number of other things. And that's the thing. I want our education program to be met with the same level as our contemporary states and
like Atlanta, Nashville, exactly. Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
And I want our crime rate to be looked at in the same.
That's my next question.
Absolutely. And I think the mayor has a primary responsibility, as do other areas, for the crime rate in our city. Progress is being made in that area. I know the chief of police, he and many of his officers are in the community now. I believe in proactive measures rather than reactive.
All right.
And I think when you can go out and you can do things in a proactive measure and give the community an opportunity to learn you, to gain your trust and confidence, you gain theirs.
That's right.
And when things happen, they see you as a part of that community.
That's
and they
right.
will talk to you.
Exactly.
Rather than in a reactive mode, you go in there and they're going to look at you, who are you?
Who are you? Exactly. So, General, tell us, what is the role of a mayor? Because sometimes we're not too sure of the role as far as a city council person, as far as a state representative, as far as a congressman, and so and so. So, break down to us, what is the role of the mayor?
In my assessment, the role of the mayor is the peacemaker, for lack of a better word.
Right.
The role of the mayor is to work in harmony with all of the citizens of the city.
Okay.
To pull them together to make certain that there is good communication, to foster good esprit de corps among the citizens, the police department, the fire department, and all of the services areas, and to be the leader of this. The mayor is the steward of the city, to work with the city council people. And that's one of the things that I will do. All of those individuals are elected officials.
Yes, they are.
You can't discount them, whether you like them or not. They've been elected by that district.
That's right.
And there are 9 districts in this city. And one of the first things I would do is to go and sit down with each of those city council persons and find out what's going on in their particular district. And then I would ask them, the next time you have a town hall meeting in your district, I want to be there.
Now that is so important.
Absolutely.
That is so important.
I want to
because
hear.
I've kind of watched different city council meetings in different cities, and do you know the mayor? So a lot of times don't even show up. I'm like, why would a mayor not even be at the city council meeting?
Absolutely. And I want to be there, and I want to hear from them what's going on. And I will tell them.
Because they are the heartbeat.
Absolutely. And I will tell each of them, I will work with your city council representative to achieve the goals that you've outlined. But more importantly, I'm not your kind of person that will sit back and rely on stuff to come in to me. I'm an outward person. I get up early. I've always gotten up early.
Oh yes, military, you have to get up early.
And chances are I'll know what's going on in your community before you will.
Wow.
Because I believe in getting out, seeing.
Yes, sir.
I would get out, meeting people, speaking to people, earning their trust and their mind, and we begin in communicating.
Yes.
So that's what it's all about. But working with the city council people, working with the county commission, and all of the commissioners of the county, working with the community leaders.
That's it.
You know, they
That's
all
right.
have a place, and they've been put in place by their respective communities.
That's right.
And
The
you
grassroots
can't,
people.
absolutely,
Yes.
and you can't discount anybody, particularly working with our ministers, who hold
Come
a
on
sacred
now.
place with all of our citizens.
Yes, they do. Yes.
And you know, and oftentimes people will talk to them when they won't talk to anybody else.
That's right.
But I've got to win their confidence too.
Yes, you
And
do.
I want them to know that I am seriously interested in becoming involved in each and every one of them, with every one of them, to make things move
Yes.
in a harmony, move through a harmonious way.
That is awesome. We've got so many people tuning in. Awesome. Please share the video. Again, please share the video. We thank you so much. Of course, we already know that information is power.
Absolutely.
That's right. So we are your station for information and inspiration, WXVI. Okay. All right. Well, Gerald Clay, he says that is wonderful. He would like to meet you. And he says he's going to vote for you.
Well, thank you.
All right, we're doing our job then.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
That's what I asked the citizens of Montgomery. Give me an opportunity to win their trust.
That's it.
And for them to go down and support me as mayor of Montgomery.
Right.
And you know, I've lived under 3 core values
All right.
for the last 50 years. And the core values, the first one is integrity first. And that's doing the right thing when nobody even looking,
All right
particularly
now.
when no one is looking.
That's right.
And the second one is service before self. It's not about you. Get out and help anyone and serve. Be comfortable with it.
Wow.
Who was it in Matthews?
Yes.
I came to serve
That's it. Come on
rather
now.
than to be served.
That's it. Woo.
And the third
Yes.
one is excellence in all we do.
Wow.
Whatever you do, be the best at doing it.
Yes.
Whether you're a leader or whether you're a follower, be the best at it.
All right. I tell you, we got the general in the house. He's in the
Absolutely.
house. I tell you, and again, we do thank you so much for sharing with us
Absolutely.
on this afternoon. So we talked earlier about crime.
Right.
In our city. So, you know, what is your take on the situation as far as crime in our city?
I think,
and what will you do as mayor?
right. I think crime is an area that falls within it's the tip of the spear as far as the mayor is concerned.
Okay.
It can't be removed from that. Crime is another area where I would take the office of the mayor into the community, into the neighborhood,
Okay.
and I will talk with the parents. You know, we've got a large part of our crime is being fostered by some of our young teens, and I think there needs to be some level of accountability.
Yes.
And I think I would simply ask the mothers and the fathers, and I'm not asking them anything I wouldn't do. You know, do you know the whereabouts of your child?
So important.
And have you had a conversation with your child as it relates to safety, as it relates to the need for guns?
Oh, yes.
And the other thing is the consequences of what will happen to you if you have a gun and you get out and you put that gun in an unsafe environment.
That's right.
Or you shoot somebody. It's not like the old Western days where
Okay.
you shoot somebody and
That's
you get
right.
up.
Like gun smoke.
No.
Oh, yeah. No.
And to explain to them there's a line, and when you cross that line there's no coming back.
That's right.
But the biggest thing is to create an awareness and let them know that, hey, I'm not pointing the finger and I'm not the sacred person out here, but I'm a parent just like you are.
That's right.
And I have faced what you're facing, and I care. And that's the biggest thing you got to do with your kids. Got to let them know you care.
Yes.
And because they'll ask you, what do you care? And then the next thing you got to do when you tell them you care, you got to begin to show them you
Especially
care.
our teenagers.
Absolutely.
That's right.
You got to
That's
show them
right.
you care.
And one of our listeners, Gerald, he's saying that discipline is missing now.
Absolutely.
That is so true.
There have been a total lack
So
of
true.
disciplines, particularly in just about every environment right now. So we have to restore discipline. That's important. And you know, our kids just simply have to know. But the biggest thing, we've got to pay more attention to what's going on with our family, with our kids.
Come on now.
And let them know that you're going to be there and you're going to be looking at them. And you've got to tell them, all right, I love you, I support you, and as long as you're in this lane, I will continue to love you and support you. But when you're in this other lane, I'm still going to be watching you.
That's right.
And I'm going to make certain, and I'm going to demand that there are consequences for your actions. And I will work with anybody, you know. It's not uncommon for parents to call the police on their children when they're not doing the right thing.
That's right, because I'll call the police
Absolutely,
on mine.
absolutely,
Exactly.
absolutely.
That's right.
And
That's
you do
right.
that because you care.
That's right.
And
I'd rather do it than they do it.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Right.
And then you let them be knowledgeable of some of the examples, some of the things that have happened out there, and then let them know that, hey, you can survive in this environment. You don't have to go off looking for another environment.
That's right. Exactly.
And we love you, and we're going to be there to support you. And that's the thing.
And so often, you know, our kids, they just look for love in all the wrong
Absolutely.
places.
That's it.
Yes, but we have to. It still goes back to home, y'all. Still goes back to home.
Absolutely.
Yes, we've got to instill that in our children in the home. Now, my big thing, of course, is the gun situation.
Absolutely.
So, as mayor, what will you do to help take the guns off the streets? As far as all of, you know, in particular, I don't know how all these young people are getting guns.
I don't either. Well, you know, and I've listened and I've participated in some programs.
Okay.
As you know, those who are in the possession of guns have to be much more responsible than they've been in the past.
Right.
And when I say this, I'm not talking all, because largely of the majority of those who have guns or in the possession of guns exercise the safety measures. But there are some don't. When you got a gun in your car, for instance,
There you go.
you know, make certain that your car is secured, and then make certain that you have a pistol license for that gun, and then you can demonstrate that to your kids.
Yes.
You do. But if they see you doing something wrong, then you can't, you know, in good jest go and tell them something, particularly when they know it, and they'll find out.
That sure will.
They'll find out. But the other thing is, you know, the biggest thing is educating them about guns and gun safety and the reasons for guns. You know, the bottom line is, guns don't kill people. People kill people. Now you can pull that together, but you know, if the gun is lying there and no hands on that gun,
All right.
that's not going to happen. But if the gun is laying down there and you get a person behind that, and that's what killed people. But it's the biggest thing is to feel open and honest to talk about this.
All right. Yes.
To feel open and honest that there's not a need for guns. You know, one of the safety, one of the survival skills is that of security and safety. And you know, in many instances, if you're in an area where there's no violence, you know, why do you need a gun?
Exactly.
But the other thing is, you got to look at, you know, if there's a measure in place where you want to have a gun and you want to go hunt, then I think you should
Yes.
be in a place to exercise that.
Exactly. I mean, great. Let me see. All right. Okay, we need more gun safety rules and consequences.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. And another question, since we're kind of dealing with crime and the police, what would you do to foster better relations as far as between the community and our police officers?
What I would do is, you know, I would like to do, and I would go and try to secure funding so that I can put a police officer in each neighborhood.
Okay.
Assign them to that neighborhood.
All right.
And then my thrust to them would be, you get to know everybody in that neighborhood and allow everybody in that neighborhood to get to know you. And then you become a part of that neighborhood. You're looked upon as a part of that neighborhood. And then I'm an advocate of training.
Okay.
I would go back into the police department because I know the police department have some of the best training you could have. And some of this training is recurring training.
Yes.
And let's look at our training programs and let's examine the results of our training. How is it going? Now, you know and I know in every situation you're going to always have one or two that go beyond the scope
Yes.
of what is required.
Right.
And you know, I don't know the particular reasons, but there are reasons for this. And sometimes maybe you didn't get them trained properly, or they didn't adhere to the training that was given. But the bottom line is, training is the thrust. We've got a situation in many instances where we've got a shortage of police persons.
Exactly.
And as a result
Yes.
of that, they are strained. And when you operate in a strained environment, you don't. And when situations occur, you don't react the way you may have wanted to, according to your training.
There you go. Right.
On the other end of the spectrum, you've got citizens out here that are mad because of something may have happened to a relative or something, and when they get pulled over, they get out with an attitude.
That's right. That's right.
And what I suggest to them is tell them, in that situation like that, and you're given a command, subscribe to the command. You can always go back and file a complaint, or you can take other action, but two negatives don't end up to a positive.
There you go. Come on now. That's right.
And let's do that. And when we find out situations like that, lots of things are happening to pay particular attention to this, then let's get back into a forum where we can talk about these things. But again, when you've got a situation where people know each other, there's good relationship between our police department and our community and our citizens.
Yes.
Then it won't foster into that kind of thing.
Right.
The other thing has to do with good race relations too. This happened over in a state outside of this state, but this is not this state. In this state, we perform these measures. We do this. We can sit down and talk.
That's
we
right.
understand each other.
Exactly.
We can relate to each other. And that's what you got. And that has to be ongoing. You never stop the good things that are happening. They get to a part, but you don't get to a comfortable level. You
That's
always elevate.
Yes, sir. You always elevate. That is so true. Okay, Officer Williams is good when it comes to the community as an officer. Thank you, Gerald. Thank you.
That is true.
Right. That is awesome. Again, if you have any questions, just feel free to go ahead and chime in. We've got him in the seat on this evening, and I'm just really enjoying this dialogue. Great information.
Well, thank you.
As well.
And one of the things I want to make clear, Montgomery has some of the best police officers you're going to find anywhere.
Come on. All right.
That's right. So
That's
I'm
awesome.
not going to bash them. And
Okay.
just think about it. If you got up every day and you put on your uniform and you went to work,
It's a possibility you may not come back home.
And you didn't know whether you were coming back or not.
That's right.
Now that's serious. So these people put their lives on the line
Yes.
every day.
Yes.
So I'm very, very passionate when it comes to our police officers.
You know what? And when I grew up as a little girl in Birmingham, Alabama, the police, can you believe they used to walk the community?
That is correct.
I wish we could go back to that.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yes, the
That is
police
true.
used to walk the community.
Absolutely.
Wow, yes.
True.
Yes. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and just chime in, and we'll of course get our General Crowell to answer the questions. Okay, so go ahead and chime in while we got him here. All right. So again, if you want to look into the camera and just tell our listeners, again, we're in the studios of WXVI, but just tell our listeners, why should they vote for General Ed Crowell?
I think all of you should vote for me. It's all about providing, restoring hope and providing opportunities. And I'm an advocate of that, and the core values that I outlined a few minutes ago is not just talk. I live these. I think Montgomery has moved a long way. And I'm not going to sit here and bash our current administration, because in my assessment, they've done a good job. And I think they haven't achieved all the milestones that's needed for this city. I'm in a particularly favorable position because of my leadership and because of my exposure to virtually every segment of people to lead Montgomery into the next millennium. And I can do that, and the thing about me, and I can't talk about others, just me. You will never hear me talk about me or I. it's always we and us.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been a team player. I believe in teamsmanship. And I think as a team, we can move mountains working together. And that's the thing I want to establish. I want to create an atmosphere conducive to ongoing communication. I know how to do that. I want to create an atmosphere where everyone feels that they can express their views openly without being reprised. And I know how to do that. But the most important thing is I know how to lead. I've led. I have managed budgets bigger than that of the city. I have worked with people and managed people in excess of the employees working for the city. And I've done these things successfully. And the one measure that I've been successful in is that I know how to work hard, I know how to do a good job, and my wife cautions me on this often when I say I have never pursued a field of endeavor and failed, because I believe in doing whatever it takes. I believe in setting goals. I believe in working hard, aligning myself with those that can help, and thrusting in them, instilling in them that we have to be successful in this measure, and trusting them to do the right thing and motivating them to do the right thing, and us going together and making things happen. I'm excited about the future of Montgomery, and I'm not a politician. I'm a businessman. I've spent 35 years in the Air Force, so I know service. I believe in service. I'm a recent executive of a multi-million-dollar industrial company where I perform as president and chief executive officer of this company, and I moved this company to Montgomery from Long Island, New York.
All right.
And moved it on the west side of the city. I hired employees.
And what's the name of the company?
It was VT Milto.
Oh,
Milto
yes,
Corporation.
yes.
And hired in employees from throughout the city, but employees from the west side, the north side, the south side.
That's right. All sides.
All sides.
Exactly.
And I instill in each of our employees that we're going to train you to do the jobs that we have, and my thrust is to make sure you're successful. And I would tell every one of the employees, there's no such thing around here as failure, because when you fail, I fail. I take it personal.
Yes.
And I'm not used to failing. And I'm going to do everything possible to make certain that you're successful. And I think if you go to any of those employees, you will find that they will exude the same demeanor as what I've just expressed.
That's right, exactly. Now, this is a great question here. What is your plan to help ex-felons gain back their rights to vote?
Well, when we talk about ex-felons, I think,
Great question.
Obviously, they've been incarcerated for things that was viewed as them breaking the law. And there's a penalty in accordance with the law outlined for them to be incarcerated. I honestly believe once they have served the term that has been levied upon them, and then when they come back out, there certain rights that should be restored. The right to vote is a top measure.
Yes.
And I believe that they paid the dues for whatever crime, and when they get out, their voting record should be reinstalled.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Again, please share this video. Please share this video. Again, we have live in the studios of WXVI 1600 AM General Ed Crowell. Of course, he's our candidate for mayor for the city of Montgomery, Alabama. So what's your take on all of this rich history that we have here in our city?
Well, Montgomery is rich in history, and when you look at, I for one know about, the Civil Rights Act of 1964, and look at a lot of the leaders who were involved in that, and they came to a point where they just decided, okay, we've taken all we're going to take, and we're not going to take any more, and we're going to do whatever is necessary to move us forward.
Yes.
And we're willing to pay the consequences for such. You know, when Dr. King was out marching, he had a great following.
Yes, he did.
But he had a good message, and he had a good strategy, and that was the a nonviolence approach, and you know, that was very, very successful. I think, if, like I said, you know, you can't meet a negative with another negative.
That's right.
And this was viewed positive. The other thing was, he was a minister, and he was preaching from the Bible. And as Andy Young would say, you know, during that time frame, even mean white people respect the Scripture.
They sure, that's right.
But
exactly.
But I think you know, it was an era where certain things had to take place.
Yes, sir.
They were taking place. People made some have made ultimate sacrifices, and I think I wouldn't be sitting here if some of those measures had not taken place. But I'm particularly pleased that I was given the opportunity that was rightfully mine anyway.
Yes.
To move forward, and I took those opportunities. And I'm a product of public education.
Me too. Yes.
And you know, my mother just laid down the rules, and I subscribed to those rules, and you know, I was able to move forward in that setting. But I think with the rich history, you know, being the civil rights movement and Rosa Parks, I got to meet her, knew her.
Oh, yes.
Another a strong lady that I knew was Mrs. Carr.
Oh, yes, Miss Johnny Carr.
Got to know her well. She knew me well, and we often would talk. And I remember talking to Mrs. Park and asking her a question, and she said, young man, I was just tired, and I wanted to sit. And I said, yeah, I know you're talking to me that, but it was much bigger than that. And she would smile. You know, she was a very unselfish lady.
Yes, she was.
But most of these people was viewed in that context. But again, there were caring people on the other side too. But it was a situation where people just the platform wasn't conducive to them speaking their piece.
That's right.
And but there were always people on the other side, and on the other side, there were always caring whites that wanted to assist.
That's right. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Now we've got a whole bunch of people on here. They are asking, what can they do to help you with your campaign?
Well, I appreciate that very much, and thank you so much for your assistance.
Yes.
The one thing I want you to do is make certain that you are a registered voter.
That's number one.
That is important.
Yes.
And on the 27th of August, I want you to go to your respective precinct, your voting place, and vote for Ed Crowell. I would appreciate that very much. And in getting there, you know, I want you to help me by communicating to others that you've heard me. You may have met me, but I'm an open and honest person. I'm willing to sit down with anyone who's willing to talk to me, and if they have questions, get those questions to me. I have a website, generalcrowell.com.
All right, you give them that website one more time.
generalcrowell.com.
All right, and that's CROWELL. generalcrowell.com.
Right.
Okay.
And you know, and as we go out to right now, I'm in a healthy canvassing mode. I've been out today, and I'll go back out when I leave here this afternoon.
Awesome.
Canvassing, going to people's door. I feel passionate about looking at someone in the eye and letting them know what I stand for, and asking them for their support.
That's
and
right.
shaking their hand.
That's how you do it. That's
That is
right.
important.
That is so important.
Absolutely.
Because I tell you, you can't come shake my hand and ask me for my vote.
Absolutely.
You're not getting it.
I know what you mean.
That's right. I'm old school like that.
And that's what it's all about.
That is what it's all
give me an
about.
opportunity to represent you as your mayor.
Right.
And then I will certainly establish a platform where if I'm going away that is not conducive to what I've explained to you, I want you to tell me.
Awesome.
And give me an opportunity
Humble.
to straighten that up.
That's right.
I believe that. The good Lord didn't make any perfect people,
Come on now.
but He made us all in His image.
That's right.
And that's why He's forgiving
Ooh,
for us.
come on. Are you about to preach too?
Oh, I
Are you about to preach?
tell you. I tell you, He's
But
good.
that is so
He's
true.
good.
Yes, He is.
All the time.
All the time.
Absolutely.
All the time. Now, they need to get in contact with you. Just suppose they need a campaign sign.
Right.
Anyone who may want a campaign sign, how can they get in contact with you to get that?
If they need campaign signs, they can call our number, get in touch with the campaign manager's office.
All right.
And they will get those out.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. So do you have anything else that you'd like to leave?
Well, I would like to say to all of the individuals listening that thank you so much for this opportunity to come before you. I'm passionate about leading the citizens of Montgomery as its mayor, and this is a charge that I don't take lightly. I'm passionate about each and every one of you and your particular desires for this city, and I know working together we can achieve all of the milestones out there. And I believe in setting goals. I believe in allowing for a time frame. The one thing that I've learned, I've had to learn more than anything else is patience.
Oh, yes.
I don't have a lot of patience, but I believe in working hard. I believe in staying focused, and I believe in being successful on the milestones that we set out. So I want to thank you for this opportunity. I look forward to representing you as your mayor, and I look forward to more communication with each and every one of you as time progresses.
Awesome. And of course, we will be sharing this video up until the election.
Okay.
All right. But again, we thank you again so very much. We thank you, and we just wish you Godspeed and so much success. And we know we're going to see you all around town.
Oh, thank you. Absolutely.
Yes.
That you will.
Amen. Well, I thank you again so much, General Crowell, for stopping by the studios. Yes, he has been here, and he's about to go back out to start back campaigning again.
Absolutely.
So we don't want you out too late. But again, we thank you so very much. Of course, our mayoral candidate for the city of Montgomery, Alabama, General Ed Crowell. Again, we thank you so much for stopping by the studios of WXVI 1600 AM here in Montgomery, Alabama. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And thank you all so much for tuning in on tonight. Thank you.